I'm Orlean Burt Newton. I'm the daughter of Romy and Golia Burt. I grew up in Fuquay Springs, later became Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. I graduated from high school here, Fuquay Consolidated High School. Back in the 40s, I guess it was the early 40s, late 30s, my father felt a need for an African-American physician in Fuquay Springs. So he had a building built on Railroad Street. The address was 208 Railroad Street. And Dr. J.B. Davis was the doctor. He was originally from Lewisburg, North Carolina. So he came and he had a practice and a clinic in that building for several years. And he later moved his office and home down to Northwest Street, which is across from First Baptist of Fuquay-Varina. And after that, my father had some changes made in the building, and it changed it to Burt Cafe. And he saw a need at that time. He was a very wise man. At that time, he saw the need for a restaurant for African Americans. And we had the North State Tobacco Redrying Plant. And a lot of African Americans were employed there. But they need places to eat lunch and dinner. So that's what they did. My mother, one of my brothers, and one of the ladies, Miss Annie Raines. My brother's name was Dennis Burt. And Miss Annie Raines, who lived in Fuquay, she worked there as well. And they provided lunch and dinner for the African American employees that worked at that plant. Because during segregation, there was just no place for them to go. I mean, they could go and maybe pick up something and take it out. But at Dad's Cafe, they could sit there and have lunch and also dinner. After Dr. Davis moved, the building was again renovated for the restaurant. Then after the redrying plants closed, Dad felt a need for young African Americans to come on a Sunday afternoon after church services. The building was opened for youth to come, and they served hot dogs, hamburgers, candy, ice cream, bubble gum, stuff like that, because there was no place for our young people to go on a Sunday afternoon and just have fun. And of course, parents didn't mind their youth coming there because my father was very strict. He was a strict parent, and when those youth were in his presence, he was going to be the same way with them as he was with us. My father was very respected in the community, and I'm proud to be his daughter. One of my friends shared with me that one of the principals at Fuquay Consolidated would not allow their class to have a prom, and they came to my father and he allowed them to have their prom in that facility. He loved Fuquay. He loved his community. He also owned a building that was adjacent to the Burt Cafe, and that was a building that was used as a satellite funeral home for Leitner Funeral Home in Raleigh and later Hayward Funeral Home. And after that, it was used, there was a church in Varina, and the minister was Reverend Cotton, and he saw a need for people to be able to go someplace and buy clothing, used clothing, because they couldn't afford to go to other places, more expensive places. So they used that as a drop-off for used clothing, and it was called the Lamb's Corner. The Lamb's Corner is next door, it was next door to the Burt Cafe on Railroad Street. And it's been demolished, I would say, for the last maybe 3 to 4 years. I had a lady to share with me just a few months ago that she had several children, and she said she clothed her children out of that building. My community means a lot to me. I was born here, lived here for 18 to 22 years, came back periodically to visit my parents, had to come back in 2002 to take care of my dad because my mother had died suddenly. And at that time, he was 98 years old, needed a caregiver. So I came back, took care of him, and remained here because I saw how the community had changed. I wanted to be a part of what was going on in the community. And I'm happy I came back. One piece of advice that I would give to the youth today is get to know your history.